Looks like we're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Joe Baker's Remedy Report. Let's see, today is Wednesday, May 22nd, 2024. Where's the time going these days, huh? Uh, I'm just out here coming on live and doing a quick show. Maybe some of you will catch this later. I see somebody's jumped in already. See, you're on Rumble. Fantastic. Well, Joe Baker's Remedy Report is a show about bringing harmony to the world through economic innovations, health tips, and increased awareness. I have knowledge across many disciplines and very curious individual, and I like to provide solutions to the world, and I think outside the box. So I'm working on things like a new monetary system based on forgiveness and plans on how to merge that into the existing system and kind of invert things over time gradually. I feel it can be done, and I have my own uh, systems or my own assets that I bring to the table to help kickstart the forgiveness-based economy and provide an inheritance worldwide. So there's that. I get into like law and remedy from that perspective. I get into health issues, talk about um, remedies that way too. So the term has a lot of meanings there. Sorry, I'm up so close on the camera. I guess I could put this on a tripod and step away from it a little bit. But the microphone is on the bottom of the phone, so I don't know that I can really set it up on something else here. Let's try this. That might work. I can get back a little bit. I think you'll still hear me unless I smash the automatic gain control on the audio. So other things that I get into, I do healing work with tuning forks, various sound therapies, and I've developed a knack for um, sending structured energetics to people. So that's kind of a fun thing. I remember a friend of mine, his wife said a long time ago that I would either be, dirt poor, broke, or I'd be, like one of the richest men in the world. And it's very, very interesting how how very close she's come on that. um, you know, right now I'm pretty much living, um, thanks to someone taking care of me. Um, but it's funny. I've got plans on how to make uh, a lot of money, a lot of different ways. So we'll see how it all comes out, shakes out in the end. Be nice. Um, what else? I like cats. I mean, I've got them here, and that's nice. I take care of them. But they're not mine per se. So I guess I'd rather have a dog, a big dog. I probably haven't met many other people who've registered their name with the U.S. Patent Office. I've done it as a service mark. So Joseph William Baker is, you'll see that it has the registered mark after it. I do this to protect myself from government abuses. I have yet to see how it actually pans out, except it's made me a lot bolder. It's made me feel more secure. Because for them to able to, take you to court and things like that, they have to be able to use your name, and you can drop a cease and desist notice on them and take the matter out of their court and move it up into a federal patent court. And they don't want to do that because they don't have those kind of attorneys, those kind of lawyers, legal resources. And for them to do that would cost quite a bit of money. I don't know, but I would guess that those kind of lawyers charge like $400 or $500 an hour. I hired one, come to think of it, long time ago. I was working on a project with some guys, and I wanted to have a contract. And so we went to one of these intellectual property attorneys, and it cost a lot of money to have that contract drafted. I also talk about toxicity issues in nutrition and how to get the body to have less toxicity inside of it. I've got, I don't know, I'm not a certified doctor. I'm not, I do energetics with tuning forks, and then I listen intently to doctors that talk about this matter, and I've learned an awful lot about it, so I think I can speak intelligently on the topic. Let me check and see if there's any comments coming in. Got my eye on the comments section in case you'd like to say something or another. It'd be great to know that the sound is working and where you're watching from. There's one. Sound works. Thank you very much. I'll put your comment up on the screen there for a minute. It's kind of nice. And it's got a timer, and it takes it off after all this time. I'm using to stream today. I'm using Rumble. Has this tool called Studio, and you can see it at studio.rumble.com. They're not paying me to say this, but they are letting me use it for free, and it's streaming out to Twitter and to Facebook, YouTube, and I can add other RTMP sources. I've been trying to get LinkedIn to work, and I'd like to get my Facebook page to work. It's only streaming to my personal page on Facebook, sadly. My biggest show I ever did was the one where I filmed a package of toilet paper with a microscope, and I looked inside on a fresh roll of toilet paper and found this wiry thing that was moving around, And I don't know, I think it might have been one of those carbon nanotubes. It seemed to have some intelligence to it. And um, it it nuzzled itself up against the metal tweezers that I had, and it coiled up its base, and then it sprung off of there, and it shot away like about 3 times the length of the fiber. That was just a really, really bizarre thing, and it it really helped me get a lot of subscribers on Facebook. Remedy Report, facebook.com/Remedy Report, and if you haven't seen it, that's something to watch. It's kind of easy to find if you go to my BitChute channel, bitchute.com/Remedy Report. Some of the other interesting shows I've done, there's a show where I interviewed Action Allen about registering your name with the U.S. Patent Office. That's a big one on Rumble. Oh, sorry, I'm yawning, but it's probably time for me to go to bed. But I've taken a few naps during the day today. I've been also streaming on TikTok. I'm looking forward to the day when TikTok is integrated with Rumble Studio. That'd be great. It'll happen someday. But right now, it looks like I need to get to 10,000 followers on TikTok in order to use their other streaming tools. So it's going to be a while. I think I'm at about 1,500 followers on TikTok. And that's a start. It's pretty good. The economic innovations that I talk about on this show typically deal with the places in our judicial system where there just isn't remedy. You can go to court and you can have a judge issue a judgment that the defendant has to pay you so much money. Well, that's all fine and good, but what if they don't actually pay you the money? Sometimes these judgments are considered in the category of a bad debt, I imagine. And so you can go to some companies and they'll pay you, pennies on the dollar for the judgment. And then somehow they get a better benefit from it. But what I'd like to see happen is that we would learn to establish and value markets for assets where instead of the judgment is a judgment of a debt, that it becomes a judgment of an act of forgiveness, and that the forgiver is actually issuing value and it's recognized by these marketplaces. This would be an actual positive kind of money instead of debt or scarcity-based money. It would be a positive money type of thing, hard money, if you will, like gold. Somewhat, I know, usually economists like to have a scarcity aspect, and So I recognize that in so much as when an asset like that is created, there's a fixed number of tokens that are issued to represent the total value. And then, but on the other hand, we're saying that any individual may issue infinite amounts of forgiveness, corresponding to the amount of damage as they appraise it. So there's that, and then there's also a license that comes into it. Terms of service are very common in software, where you have to agree to the licensing terms for these forgiveness-based monetary assets. There's also such a license, and it's called the Forgiveness Public License, of which I'm the author, and we refer to it as the FPL. The Forgiveness Public License gives both parties gives all parties who are involved in a trust. So like a cryptocurrency would be a sort of a trust, a shared value that that they're all guarding, and then they have terms about how they will honor the value of it. And the thing about these assets is that they have a declarative face value, and everybody who uses them agrees to honor the face value of the token as best they can. So this means that they only use it as much as the buyer and seller, both sides of the transaction, can afford to engage that asset. And that might only be like 25 cents on a worth of it on a $10 purchase. So this way we have an incremental, a tiny ratio of a transaction to start off with. Who knows? We might just end up in a place where we have to use it at full face value for the full price purchase, as a sort of a crisis currency. A crisis currency is one that is used when the main currency that's in play fails for one reason or another. Thanks for tuning in and watching. I'm going to check here and see we've got 2 people watching right now. Late night on Joe Baker's Remedy Report. Somebody's watching on Twitch. Hey, fantastic. I'd love to hear where you guys are watching from. If you care to say that, or maybe just say a favorite place you might like to be instead of where you are, and that'd be nice. I'm broadcasting from Wisconsin tonight. So I've done a few of these forgiveness-based legal processes. One of them was on an airline where I bought tickets using Bitcoin, and they overcharged me. And so I issued the intent was to issue $1 million worth of forgiveness to them for what they did. And they didn't object to the process that I served them with. So it is a self-executing judgment. So that token is on the BitShares platform. And there's another one I did where I served a guy who was an ex SEC Internet Enforcer, Securities and Exchange Commission sort of guy. He's a legal professor. He did an op-ed or an article on LinkedIn about 2009, I guess. And in it, he was, basically threatening people that they would go to jail if they didn't comply with the anti-money laundering and know your customer rules from the US government. And particularly, he was focusing on cryptocurrency exchanges. His name is John Reed Stark. And I challenged him on LinkedIn to provide any evidence that those laws from the United States government applied to anyone. And he defaulted and did not provide any evidence. And I gave him a deadline. And I told him that if he didn't provide such evidence by that deadline, I would, number one, I'd be able to call him a terrorist because he was making terrorist threats. And number two, that value of harm to me specifically was $1 million, and that I would be issuing $1 million worth of forgiveness to him over that matter to put him back in honor. And so this all played out. He didn't object to me issuing the forgiveness, and so I can refer to his act as a terrorist threat. I've earned that through a legal service process, and yet I've forgiven him. So it's kind of an interesting approach. We have a few others. One of the big ones that I have yet to finish up is the city of Bakersfield police department falsely arrested me one night, and it just beat the hell out of me. Clubbed me 15 times, stomped on my head 3 times. It was not a good night for the most part, but I'm preparing to flip that around and make something good out of it for the world, kind of on the magnitude of Jesus dying on the cross. So in this way, their crimes against me become monetized as a forgivable act, and they also made me forget about Bitcoin at that point. So, I mean, this was even before the Bitcoin pizza transaction. The first, which was the first transaction that established Bitcoin's value in the marketplace, and that would have been about 4 pennies for 4 Bitcoins for a penny. 4 Bitcoins for a penny. So for all the billions of dollars they owe me for offending me and trespassing me and harming me, stealing my liberty and defaming my name and violating my due process rights. So there's billions of dollars there then that gets multiplied as if I was able to invest in Bitcoin at those prices back then. So this becomes an asset that's like $2.7 quintillion, on the magnitude of giving everyone on Earth maybe around $20 million each. So yeah, I think out of the box, and I think about these things differently than other people do. And thank goodness, because nobody else has really figured out any solutions to the problems we face in the world that I know of. So we are on the way. There's this lady on TikTok. She calls herself Annie, the multi-passionate coach. And she speaks about people like me who bring a lot of knowledge in different domains that I have passions about together, and come up with new kinds of innovations. I'd love to interview her on the show sometime. If you'd like to learn more about this show, our website is forgivenesscapital.com. Forgiveness, capital, CAPITAL.com. And you can see on that page there'll be a link to Joe Baker's Remedy Report. And on that page, you'll see links to shows that I've done with some very interesting people over time. And also, there's a lot of shows that I've done there that deal with health, like specific parts of the body. If you've got an issue with a certain part of your body, look there, see if I've got a episode that deals with that part, and then you just play it and watch the show, and the sound therapy from it will affect your body. Also, there's a link there if you want to be a guest on the show. It's going to be a little different here. I'll be kind of tied up. I'm helping out with the beach this summer, so my shows won't be at 1 p.m. Central Time like I used to do. Just kind of do them whenever I can. If you'd like to have a private session with me on a health-related matter, or doing some consulting of one sort or another, we can do that too. Maybe the best way to get in touch with me on that is to go to my health page. You'll see that also at forgivenesscapital.com, and there's a little chat bot in there that you can answer and give it your phone number, and that'll get to me via a high priority email. So I'm applying for disability because I find in my life it's very difficult for me to accomplish anything. And I'm not sure what it is. It's like focus. It's I don't have access to health insurance at this time, and some of the legal matters that I've been entwined with have made me reluctant to come forward for like benefits or help, things like that. So yeah. Anyway, let's see if that works out. it's really quite the head game. You know, here I am thinking about solutions for the world in an economic realm where I haven't studied economics, and yet I find it difficult to cope. It's quite the head game, you know. On one hand, you feel, uh, you know, one day you feel devalued or you know, broken, and then on the other hand, you feel like you're the world's only hope for some of these things to resolve. It's a lot. It's a lot on your shoulders. So I've got to get some uh, different ways of thinking about these things, about my life, and be able to press through. Maybe, or maybe just, you know, some people say that you're not supposed to try to fix the things that you don't have power over. I just refuse to think that I don't have power over things. It's like that Star Trek episode, you know, in the very, very beginning of Star Trek, uh, where there's these, they're on Rigel 12, I think it is, and it's a planet, and there's these big-headed aliens there, and they have the power to create illusions. And there's an old Starfleet captain who was injured in a horrible accident, and he's in a wheelchair. But on Rigel 12, he can have this life in his mind. He's running around, and there's this you know, beautiful woman and the companion, and they have a wonderful existence together. But if you'd see him in his wheelchair, you know, he's got radiation damage and he's all deformed and stuff. I don't think he can even speak. He can just he can he can respond with a flashing light on the wheelchair, a yes or a no light. And and then there's one time when the Enterprise sends down a crew, and they see the big-headed aliens go into an elevator in a rock, and then they go in the elevator and down, and the doors close, and then they take off their phasers, and they're blasting away at the door of the elevator, and the elevator appears that it is impervious to the phaser weapons. But later, when they get one of these big-headed aliens, and they've got them their arm around their neck, you know, it interferes with the alien's ability to propagate the illusion. And suddenly they see the big holes that they blasted in the elevator door. So it's like that. I feel that we really do have an impact on the world, and that it's our mission, you know, to affect these changes, and that we need to have courage that we can and do, even by the most simplest things. Let's see if I have a pen in my pocket. No, I don't. nice being here with you guys. Say hi in the chat if you'd like to. It's always nice to know who's watching and to be able to recognize usernames that I've seen before. The way I'm streaming right now, that's the only way I can see who's live is if you say something in the chat room. So we had ZYX Rebel XYZ watching on Twitch. Let's see if I can put some things up on the screen for you here. I've got ozone therapy is something that I like to talk about. Text. Ozone therapy is a pretty remarkable technology. Getting ozone gas, mostly oxygen though. Only about 1% of the gas is ozone. When you're dealing with medical grade ozone. Let's see, what else can we talk about? I'll put on the screen here. Put in a plug for the nutritiondetective.com show. He does the Love Your Liver broadcast. I help him out with that. And if you need some assistance with your broadcasts, perhaps I can help out as a broadcast consultant. We've started doing some really great work with the Nutrition Detective show, and that way the doctor can just be focusing on what he's presenting and showing web pages that prove his point. If you'd like to listen to my attempts at singing, smool.com/joebitcoin.org is a collection of about, 30, 40 songs that I've sung that you can watch. And the website for my health and healing, wellness consulting, all that sort of thing is right there on the screen, health.forgivenesscapital.com. And then there's forgivenesscapital.com. If you're in the mood of supporting me on a regular basis, this can be done at patreon.com/remedyreport. It would be awesome to have some income. And then there's the Forgiveness Public License.org. You can learn more about the legal license I've written to guard the value of a trust, like a cryptocurrency and so forth. I really think that every cryptocurrency should have been created with a terms of service such as this. Here's Earthica Star's YouTube channel. There's some things on there about the Bakersfield thing. If you look for her playlists, there's one about me in there. It talks about Joe and Bakersfield. And you can see my injuries from the horrible beatings that I got there. This is another page here that talks about the Bakersfield ordeal. And there's a spreadsheet on there where I detail, I don't know, it's about 20 different offenses that they did against me on that, in that whole ordeal. And then I put prices on them, and that's how I come up with that that price tag of about $2.7 quintillion. Yep. So you're watching Joe Baker's Remedy Report, and I'm Joseph William Baker. Sounds good. Thank you very much. Let's look at the chat room, make sure I don't have anything else to answer. You don't? And hey, I thank you guys for watching. It's been a nice time. Hopefully I can go to sleep now. And you can too. Goodbye. Keep smiling.